Welcome to On Air with Kash. This is our first episode, and I have the pleasure of introducing the brilliant, the lovely, the talented Jackie Moore. You know her from The Odd Couple. You know her from Barry. You know her from Lifetime. She's been so busy, and she has so many great projects in the work. Jackie, thank you so much for joining us on our first episode.
Thank you so much for that introduction. That was so nice. Thank you. Oh, well, you're always working, and I have to keep up with you, so.
We balance each other out. I have known this girl a long time. She's a dear friend. We met way back at Dances with Films. She starred in a movie called Grief, among other great projects, and she's always working, always on a roll. Jackie, what have you been up to the last few months? I miss seeing you in person. I miss going to events. I want to know what's happening with you.
I'm co-writing a movie, actually, which is pretty cool. So that's going to be something that hopefully will be done either this year or next year.
Jackie stars in a movie called My Nightmare Best Friend that is always on Lifetime.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That was a really fun one. The Lifetime channel has all these amazing storylines.
You go from acting, you write. One of your goals is to get behind the camera too and be a filmmaker. Or direct, I should say. Yeah.
That's absolutely my number one goal for this year, is to direct my first short film or feature. So that's my number one goal, I would say. This idea was something that it's a bit dramatic. That's what I really like to do as a filmmaker. I want to share things that I've experienced, or find a way to connect with people that have maybe gone through something that it just makes them feel like, it makes you feel less alone when you see a story that you respond to, or something that touches your heart. I think that's really important to me.
You're so passionate about your work. That's what I love. I mean, it's just because it's so fun to create. Even this past year, I've been writing and journaling, and there's just so many stories and experiences that I had growing up in LA, being in the industry. And right now it's just all working as a journal, but then there is that thing where, can I tell a good story? Can I create a good character? And it's just the way that Netflix is, and Amazon, and just all these streaming services. I just love we're having unique stories being told. I was just watching this Andy Samberg movie. It was called Palm Springs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I just started it when I was flying back from Atlanta about a month ago. I have to finish it. So
I'm God, yeah. I'm not going to spoil it, but just kind of the concept, because there was another one on Amazon Prime, The Map of Tiny Perfect Things with Kyle Allen. And it was just a great story about kind of Groundhog's Day theme where you go over and over again. But it's just really, I felt like it was such a metaphor for what we all go through. I've definitely been in a time in my life where I've been stuck, and you don't realize it, but you're kind of on autopilot and you're just repeating the same actions. And then when I saw that movie, and along with Palm Springs, it just seemed like, what am I not changing with my life? And I think it's symbolic as opposed to not just living the day to day. And the Andy Samberg one, Palm Springs, it was really about, he became comfortable and he was used to it, and he knew what the day was going to bring him. And so he felt safe, but then it was taking that leap with someone special who changed his life.
That's beautiful what you're saying. I love that. And I think it's something that's so true, that we all have those times in our life that we wish we could do differently, or there's a time in our life that was so special, so meaningful, and something that you want to share with people. You want to share that experience, and that's such a beautiful thing, to bring that to life. And I think so many people now have the opportunity, because you could shoot a movie on your phone. Just start putting that energy towards your goal. You're picking up your camera and doing it. And I actually should take my own advice, because sometimes we get so caught up in what this perfect idea will be. But I really believe that the universe kind of opens up when you put that energy towards something you want to do. And there's so many, like you were saying, there's so many interesting voices that really need to be heard, and interesting stories, and people from all over the world that have something that they want to share. And we all have our chance now with the way technology is. It's beautiful. And all these platforms give people a chance to get their movie seen, which is something that it wasn't possible 10 years ago, 20 years ago. People couldn't just get their movie on Amazon Prime. And I think that's really cool that we all have that opportunity to share our stories. Well, I mean, collectively, I feel like with COVID and everything, we've really had this challenge that we've never experienced in our lifetime, like something that is just making us look at the world differently and put a different perspective on the way we look at things. Like, you know, what's really important is like your family, your health, your friends, like people you love. And it's really putting the focus on what's important. And I think that that's something that we're all going through together, is like this new way of life. And it is almost, in a way, last year definitely felt like Groundhog's Day. You know? Every day it's like, okay, nothing's open. We have to make the best of it. We have to stay safe for everyone and to make the world get better. So,
you know me, I was working 12-hour days and then doing events at night.
Yeah.
I was like Michael J. Fox in Secret of My Success. I wasn't changing in the elevator, but I just felt I'm ripping off this outfit. I'm going to my next gig. And then I was shooting movies at night and on the weekends. And then it's just all of a sudden you have to stay home. I feel like the highlight of my day is like going to Costco or Target, because I just feel like, oh, good, there's something I need, or I order something on Amazon Prime. Even like the studio, it's like, oh, good, my studio came in today. I can set it up. Or it's just, you know, you're looking for those ways to be productive. Yeah.
Right. Well, for me, I mean, I really admire that about you, because I'm kind of a homebody. I'm a very shy person. I don't always like putting myself out there to go to events. That's very difficult for me. And so for me, staying home was something I'm really good at. I love to stay home. I have 2 dogs and I just watch movies a lot. And so for me, that's like kind of what I used to do. But when you have to do it, it's like there's no option.
Yes.
It's like, maybe it'll make me go out more now. Like once do. Maybe
I think it's making us appreciate going out. I did feel like at the time leading up to it, it was great. We just came off this rush from having a great film festival. We had such a productive year. We had so much good content. It just seemed like overnight, because the night before we were told to work from home, we were doing Tyrone Tan's show with Alexandra Jade. And it was just, you know, we're high-fiving and having a good time. And then the next day we go to work and we're working from home for 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks turns into 2 months. First, I thought it was going to be like a good vacation, but it's like friends I haven't seen in a year. And you do miss that interaction with people. And then there have been a few times where I have had to meet in person for meetings. And of course, with masks and social distancing, but it's just great, you know, human connection right now. We're having a conversation, we're talking about it, and we're not doing it on a screen.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, everyone kind of anticipated that it would be a few weeks, but I don't think anyone really thought it would be a year.
Yes.
From there. And, you know, as you're saying, human interaction, especially in LA, where events, nightlife, acting, all of these things involve like human interaction. So it's just so crazy to think that was just gone. The first movie that I did during this time was filmed remotely. It was a movie called After Masks, and I actually shot that at a friend of mine's house, and that was just completely new for me. I was like getting directed through Zoom, and and filming, you know, simultaneously. And so that was my first taste of what filming would be now.
So when you say you filmed it on Zoom, was it like how we're doing right now, where you would have to log in and then you were never like in the same room with another actor, another director?
No. Basically, in the film, I played the lead character's boss.
Okay.
And so I'm basically like having a conversation with my client through Zoom. So since I actually film too, and I have a Canon camera, I just set my camera up too. And then they filmed me with a Red camera on their end in the apartment with a Red. So it was like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. So they had her on the main camera and then they filmed me through Zoom. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool to see this, like how it all comes out.
Too, I want to go to the premiere and I just can't wait.
I know. I can't wait to like, you know, hang out with you again. Yeah. And hopefully like we can work on something together. That would be
I would be honored, Jackie. I'd be honored to do a project with you. That's actually a goal. I want to be in a movie that you either star in, write, direct. I am so passionate about your work. I love what you do. Let's do this. That is going to be a goal for us for the future.
That's a goal. That's a definite goal. Awesome.
And I understand you have a few more films in the works where you're going to play a different kind of character. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yes, I have a few projects coming out where I'm not playing the typical role for me. I'm playing more of a villainous character. So.
Villainous, eh? Okay.
Yeah. So I think you've played a few villains, right?
For a while, it seems like that's all I was. As in Kevin, I played Van, the sleazy Tinder guy. And then, of course, Undateable John, bleach blonde hair, I'm the villain. Before I got famous, oh gosh, that was a great with Anthony Ma. And then Kathy Coley premiered our pilot for Mayhem of the Mind at Film Fest LA Live last year before we closed. And I just saw some of the footage recently. They put out a promo for the festival. I really got to transform a lot and play so many different roles. So that was actually fun for me. Even like Kathy mentioned.
A fantastic actor, so I cannot wait to see that because I want to see Cash wherever I can see him. He's so good.
He's so funny. He does a lot of serious drama, but he's hilarious. So the film that we actually have Eric screening tonight is Mayhem of the Mind. The poster's right back there, and he actually is doing comedy in this one. So you get to see that.
I know. I cannot wait to see that.
I always play these kind of more intense roles. I don't think I'm that funny because no, Cash, you're funny. And I felt like I was just putting on different masks and exercising different personalities. So that was fun.
Well, you're the nicest person I think I've ever met. So it's just funny to think of you as a villain. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Just always so kind to me and everything. So I'm always interested when a person that I know personally is playing a villain, that when they're so far away from that in real life, it's cool.
But no villain really thinks they're the bad guy. That's the trick about playing one.
With Nightmare Best Friend, you went through a few different personalities. You didn't know where you were coming from, and you're brilliant at pulling off those kinds of characters. Oh, you're so versatile. You know how to do it. And then, but it's just like what you were saying too, because that's been another theme. The way the world is in a way, because a lot of times we grow up watching movies and it's very clear who the bad guy is, who's the good guy. Or I think at a young age, we know what's good and what's bad. And what I do like about a lot of the movies and even just art in general, when you see a good movie and you really see a character who's conflicted, who starts off one way, goes off on a ride, and it's tough, there's obstacles, and then how is that character going to come out? Did they become a good person? Did they fall to some tragedy? And it's just, I think those are just common themes with life, where it's evil comes in a seduction. It's not like no one gets into something like, ooh, I want to be bad, so I'm going to go down this road. I think a lot of that too is reflective of just even in my writing, friends I had and circumstances I found myself in where we needed to go through that experience. That's not for me, and I want to live this kind of a life, and I'm glad that I didn't go down that road.
Right. Totally. I mean, there's always
A gray area with people, with characters you play. There's always more to that person than meets the eye. So I think that's what the interesting thing about playing kind of a
darker character is like where they're coming from, what their point of view is, what they were going through in the moment, and what the person's backstory is. Because that influences how you react.
For instance, like one of the characters I recently played was an orphan. She was abandoned. So obviously, like, that's going to shape the way you view a situation. You're going to be terrified if someone leaves you, or you're going to have a different outlook on the way you view trusting someone. Because someone that has been left, they're going to view people as maybe a threat to their safety or their stability in life.
It's always so interesting, like when you dive into something, and like you're saying, using your own experiences. We've all been in situations where we were really hurt, or we were feeling a way that made us act a different way than what we might usually do. But we're all human. We're all just trying to make the best of
ourselves and our lives, and
just learn from mistakes and try to do better in the future.
Do better for the future, learn, and then just really just move on and be the best people that we can be.
Yeah,
we all make mistakes, but it's like, how do you use those lessons to shape your future, to make better choices?
I mean, I've been Zooming more. I can kind of remember a time where you talked on the phone, but I just feel for the last decade, it's just been text, email here, but we've had more time to really have conversation. Even just friends that I grew up with, who we were having like 2-hour-long conversations and just catching up, talking about life. And it's just amazing too. And I really talked to like someone I grew up with, or I'm just finding out new things that were happening when we were kids, just with relationships and just personal struggles we were having. And then just that we're like, wow, we survived that experience. They have a family now, and we're just all like in better places. But it's just, there's just something really amazing about that.
What you were saying was so interesting, catching up with old friends. It's like, it's so important that during this time, we're all supporting each other, that we're all there for each other and checking in on people and making sure we're all doing all right. That's really important in these times.
Take care of your friends, be there for your family, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to go full speed and really start creating some great stuff.
I agree.
I'm excited to see people's projects that come from quarantine too, you know, just their perspectives on that. And there's going to be some pretty interesting stories, I think, that come from this.
So I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, by the way, and thank you for letting me be your first guest on your amazing new project. And thank you again.
Jackie, it's just been an honor having you today. My goodness, everyone follow Jackie Moore. Give it up for her. She's on Instagram. You'll always see her on Lifetime. You watch her on the Westworld, Barry. She's got After Masks, and she's going to be directing her own films. Jackie, you're on a roll. You're one of my favorite people. I admire you so much, and just keep rocking, girl. And we're going to get through this. And I know that we're going to collaborate on a project in the future. That's ours.
I know we are. We definitely are. Thank you so much.
You rock. Thanks for tuning in with me and Jackie Moore. You are on air with Kash.